Good morning to our attendees who are joining us on the virtual platform. I see a couple of hands raised. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, identify yourself for the record, and which item you'd like to speak on. And I'll start with Georgina.
Hi, TJ. Good morning. Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday.
So I want to speak on the minutes and public comment, please.
Very well. I have you down for public comment and the minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. And next, I'll go to Audit LA. Good morning.
Good morning, TJ. I would like public comment on all items, and then I submitted a Google form for the
Yes.
management meeting.
Yes, I have distributed your public comment that was received via the Google form to all commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. We'll make another call out in approximately 10 minutes to see if anyone else has joined and wishes to offer public comment. Thank you. Good morning once again to our city staff and members of the public. If there is anyone who wishes to offer public commentary, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room. Indicate which item you'd like to speak on, hand it to me, I'll record your information for the record, and then I'll call upon you when we reach your item. Good morning again to our attendees who are joining us on the virtual platform. I do see a couple of additional hands raised. I'm going to ask caller ending in 880 if you would like to offer public comment or commentary on any of our agendized items this morning.
General public comment.
Thank you. Please speak loudly and clearly into your device during public comment. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. And Gigi, good morning.
Good morning, TJ. I just want general public comment, please.
Very well. I have you down for public comment, Gigi. Thank you. If there's any other member of the public who wishes to offer commentary and you're joining us on the virtual platform, please raise your hand. I'll ask you to identify yourself for the record, which item you'd like to speak on. It is 9:58 and we should get started with the board meeting in just a couple minutes. Thank you.
the guy put it up. He hid in the bushes, you know. I tried to go over there, but as soon as he saw my car, he starts putting it up. And he could smell the smoke. Save a little mess.
President King, we are now in record mode and ready to begin.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Monday, March 9th, 2026. Mr. Knight, please take roll and establish quorum.
Thank you, President King. Good morning, President King, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas are present. We do have a quorum. We are joined this morning by City Attorney Representative Thomas Costello Vega. I'm TJ Knight with the Board of Public Works. President King, we have 4 public comments, 1 multiple agenda item commentary, and 1 single item commentary on the virtual platform. And we have 1 speaker card for public comment on all items here joining us in the hearing room today. We have no neighborhood council commentary this morning.
Thank you very much. We will get started with general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items and will be provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. We will start with our in-person speakers. We have 1 speaker, Mr. Call FBI.
All right, so we'll make it brief because I only get 1 fucking minute. So over on 8th Street between Coronado and Benton Way, we have a pile of trash and they're setting it on fire. We have a clogged drain with water in it. It's been clogged for 2 years on 8th and Coronado. We have an alley that's blocked by a tent controlled by gang members selling methamphetamine and trafficking girls behind the Stratford Hotel, starting from 8th Street to the terminus on Rampart. And then we have another encampment from Rampart and 8th to Rampart and 7th, where they traffic girls on the following street over on Coronado. Now, my office is 874 feet from this place. Then we have another one on Carondelet and South Hoover with gang control. Now, the FBI arrested a bunch of people. Where the fuck are you, FBI,
That's
on
60
these
seconds,
2?
thank you.
You know, you got to start giving
That's
2
60
minutes.
seconds, thank you.
This is bullshit, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you very much. We will now transition to our virtual platform.
Thank you, President King. We'll start with Georgina.
Hi, board. Thank you. Happy Monday. I don't understand why we are honoring a human trafficking cult by allowing them to have a street named after their leader, their prophet, the guy who started all of this business. Dianetics, which their whole religion, a quote unquote religion, was founded on, was proven to be pseudoscience and garbage way back in the 50s. He got mad that he was getting so much pushback, so he decided to turn it into a religion. He had a bet with someone saying, I bet I can make this into a religion. And he said the only way to make money is to start a religion. And that's where he went with that, because suddenly his book was getting so much pushback, it wasn't selling anymore. So, hey, let's just turn it into religion. And he has caused the destruction of so many lives, and yet we have a street named after him. We don't have a street named after Muhammad or Jesus Christ, and we have a street named after a cult
Thank
leader.
you. That's
I
60
propose,
seconds.
thank
And we'll move next to Audit LA.
Good morning. I want to just keep discussing wages because wages are very important, especially in this day and age. You have a right to join whatever, quote unquote religious sect and get a stipend for $50, but for doing religious work, like monks doing, they may do the same thing, or whoever. But what the entity is not allowed to do is to take those people and make them a labor force. Okay, which is what's going on. Everything when they're doing building sets, doing the film LA, when they're doing their all kinds, all the work they do on their buildings that should be doing, the tradespeople should be doing it. They're doing it for a $50 stipend. That's not what that stipend is for. That is allowed so they can do their religious service. And it needs to stop in this city. We are a union city. It needs to stop. And you guys are part of it. You need to, make sure that everyone is making their fair wages because
Thank
there's
you,
no
Adonai.
religious.
That's 60 seconds. We'll move next to caller ending in 880.
I'm going to repeat everything everybody said before me. Ditto to Georgina and Audit LA. I'm just going to remind you that everything I said last week, that you cannot be doing this with having a cult have a street named after it. And there's nothing religious going on in those buildings. I've been in there before, and there's not religion. There's no prayers. There's no God. There's no deity. So wake up, the city of LA. Bye.
Gigi, you should be receiving a pop-up asking you to unmute.
Yes. Okay, so I want to echo what everyone said. And I'm really offended that there is a L. Ron Hubbard way when L. Ron Hubbard has said really horrible things about my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He said that Jesus was a pedophile. How can you give someone like that a street? You giving them a street named after L. Ron Hubbard means that you co-sign that you endorse that the city of Los Angeles is okay with that. And there should not be, siding with this religion, that religion. There's supposed to be neutrality. So why was this even allowed in the first place? There should be no L. Ron Hubbard way. There is no Jesus Christ way in Los Angeles. There should be separation of church and state. Change it back to North Berendo. Thank you.
And we do have a couple of additional hands raised on the virtual platform. President Kang, if you like, I can ask if they would like to offer public comment.
Yes, please.
Excellent. We'll start with Laura FM Anderson. Would you like to offer public comment this morning?
Yes. Good morning, board. Public comment and on all items as well, please.
Go ahead with your public comment. You have 60 seconds.
Okay, good morning, board. So yes, it's me again. You guys can all hear that we're calling in, talking about the unfairness that Scientology gets permits and closures of streets and sidewalks for what? For recruiting and indenturing more human, living human beings that are literally getting trapped by your guys' approval for giving them permits, which they only use for recruitment, for money laundering, for all kinds of fraud and PR for Scientology. It should just absolutely be stopped. Mr. Kang, I feel at a certain point, the revocable permit should be pulled up so the city, the people can choose whether we want to have that in the neighborhood as L. Ron Hubbard way. And I feel that there needs to be something where an immediate stop gets put on all permits for Scientology. They abuse them. They use them for everything non-having to do with helping the city, and they use it to actually make further harmful criminal
Thank you.
behaviors.
60 seconds, Laura. And I see Miriam, you have your hand raised. Would you like to offer a public comment this morning?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Good morning. I'm calling because I am concerned about my friend Audit LA, who is regularly commuting on L. Ron Hubbard Way and the surrounding part of Sunset, where Scientology had these illegal planters placed for over a year. Those planters, weighing hundreds of pounds each, destroyed the pavement. And I'm really concerned for her safety because it's not safe for her to move on the pavement with her wheelchair. This is the way that Scientology treats public property. What do you think that is going on inside the building? I really think that you should take action on this and then charge the repair of the sidewalk from Scientology. Have a good day.
President Kang, that concludes general public comment this morning.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close general public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment period for up to a minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item, and please identify the items that you will speak on when you are called. We'll start with our in-person speaker, Mr. Call FBI. You have up to 3 minutes.
So, it's what you have here, many contracts. Yep, sewer condition assessments, service dates, clerical error. I mean, pre-qual names. I mean, what is this crap? What kind of agenda is this? I mean, really? Allow 2 minutes for general public comment. Nobody's going to talk on this shit. Look at the way it's written. And the most important thing is the last page, because the last page is the one where you go in the back conference room and hide. And you're going to be talking about copper wire theft, community cleanups, pure water. That's the fucking shit we need to be talking about. That's what you're not talking about here. These guys don't know, because when you go back there, that monitor turns off, right? I used to go back there with Kevin James when he's the president of the commission. They have a coffin-shaped table back there. It's shaped like a coffin. So why don't you do that and tell us about this? We just replaced all of the lights on Wilshire Boulevard from Hoover to Westlake. They're all off now. They already came and stole all the wire again. It's all in the black darkness. What happened? They trenched underneath the street. Why are the lights off over 1 month after they were turned on? People were walking their dogs. People were jogging in the morning. Now everybody's living in fear and terror again because you got homeless selling drugs and trafficking girls 700 feet from there, and they're committing arson on a building in front of Lafayette Park Place and Wilshire. They burnt this building 16 times. And there's still homeless trying to get in there. No lights. Why? The 6th Street Bridge, what the hell happened to that? Remember all the meetings I went to? I told you, don't build it. Don't build it. It's designed wrong. You don't fucking listen. 1 minute, your train's expired. Officers escort them out. So you did that. You silenced the public. Congratulations. And you fucked it all up because you have no engineering experience. I do. I know how to fucking wire shit up. I know how to convert 220. I know all this stuff. You don't know that. You've never done these projects. You've never worked with your hands in the field. So that's what I want to know. What are you doing about this stuff?
That's 3 minutes. Thank you. We'll move next to Audit LA. Audit LA, you have 3 minutes to offer your multiple agenda item commentary. Please indicate which item you're speaking on.
I'm going to start with the first one, name change. I found it ironic that there's a name change on the agenda item today. I'm just going to continue to ask you to please put the name change that we've been requesting for 1 year on this. And then there's a clerical error. See, like here's on your agenda where you're saying there's a mistake made and it needs to be fixed. And it has, for one clerical error, it has to come all the way to the Public Works Commission for you guys to vote on whether or not to fix an error. This like a typo or clerical error. So I find it amazing that you guys, have such detail for this kind of stuff, but but nothing, for what we're asking for. And there was a lot of error, and the one on the SECA exemption, I notice a lot. There's a lot of SECA or I don't know if it's SEQA, whatever, exemptions. And then, I think they should say no. I think we need to stop having so many SECA exemptions because we're not then learning, right, what the real impact is in this project. Okay, and I would like to know, was there a SECA investigation back in when you did stop the parking on L. Ron Hubbard Way and changing that whole dynamic? I would like to formally request that as a CPRA, actually, please, while I'm here. If not, I can put it in writing. But we need to know the environmental impacts of things, whether it's this project, any project that comes before you. I don't understand why we are minimizing that. I would like to know, basically, because and if there was never a SECA for the L. Ron Hubbard parking situation, there needs to be one, especially now that we have a metro and the area has developed and grown so much. We need to know the environmental impact. We need to know the environmental impact of all these buildings and all these things that you guys are doing and planning. We need that. I'm tired of all these exemptions. I see them every day and I hope that stops. As far as minutes, I really hope that things will be recorded better. All the other commissions do. They bite the bullet and just do the extra work of writing it down and making some kind of notation. It doesn't have to be long. It's just basic. Because now it's when you look back, that's why I'm starting to put things in writing because there's no record. Not everybody, you want to look for historical context. They're not going to just go and listen to all the old videos. And it's been brought up many times. There's nothing to differentiate. You can't even see the date when at least I can't on my phone, where to know even what date
Thank
you're
you.
looking
That's
at.
3 minutes. As a reminder to all commenters, please speak loudly and clearly into your device. We'll move next to Laura FM.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Awesome. Hi, DJ. Hi, board. Okay, so again, I want to echo what Audit was just saying. If we can get certain street names and stuff like that up on the for the board to revise or to renew or to take down some of these street names, it would be great if we can have L. Ron Hubbard as well. L. Ron Hubbard Way revocable permit put back to North Florendo, and then to talk about the different agenda items. I would just this is just a quick reminder that you guys do not associate with at all with any of Scientology's hidden front group programs, whether that's with the sewer or whether that's with any other contracts being done or dealt with the city. Please make sure that none of those logos that you see that are hidden from Scientology front groups that are trying to infiltrate the city, please have that around when you're looking into these types of programs. Which programs are good for the city are the ones that are not involved anything having to do with Scientology. And then again, if I can strongly please ask with the minutes to have people that are calling in like myself, the public, that are asking to please revoke all Scientology's permits, please have that on the minutes so that even people later when they miss the board meeting or whatever, there's a record that shows, wow, these people have been calling in for 2 years asking for you guys to revoke Scientology's permits and to revoke or to stop giving them permits, but to revoke the L. Ron Hubbard permit. And also to stop allowing, this also needs to reflect on minutes that you have Sea Org Scientology people working on public streets that get paid less than $47 a week. That needs to be reflected on the minutes. That's illegal. That is the responsibility of Public Works to enforce or to have an investigator or somebody go out there and do that. And if the public are calling in and asking you yearly now to stop this, it needs to be reflected in the minutes so that it doesn't show that the public weren't interested. No, we are interested in revoking that. So please get that on the minutes. And I yield my time and thank you all for taking down this disgusting cult with me as much as you can.
And we have one single item commenter. Georgina, you indicated that you wish to offer comments on the minutes.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you, board. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. I wish the things that we spoke to you about were reflected on the minutes, however. To find out what people have been calling in about for well over a year would be very valuable to many of us, and you don't have it reflected at all on your minutes. It's as if our concerns do not matter. The neighborhood has been crying out for change for well over a year, and it gets completely ignored. It doesn't get included in the minutes, and it needs to be changed. Thank you. I yield back my time.
President King, that concludes multiple and single item agenda commentary this morning.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close the multiple item public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with the approval of minutes for Friday, February 27, 2026. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So move. Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Thank you, President King. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of minutes, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and the approval of minutes is unanimous.
Thank you very much. Moving to our agenda items 1 and 2, which are on consent. I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Thank you, President King. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of the two consent items, items 1 and 2, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and these items are approved unanimous.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 3 from the Bureau of Engineering, execution of implementation and mutual indemnification agreement.
Good morning, Board Commissioners. My name is Jan Chen, and I'm here representing the Bureau of Engineering to request authorization or request that the Board approve the Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities Round 8 Alvear Family Project Implementation and Mutual Indemnification Agreement, and determine that the project is exempt from.
If you can speak more clearly into the mic, I can't
sorry
really,
about that.
with the construction in the background, yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, and determine that the project is exempt from CEQA requirements. Good morning. In 2024, the development company or nonprofit known as La Cienega Lomad Incorporated applied for funding for their Alvear family project under the Affordable Housing Sustainable Communities 8th award cycle, and they received a grant totaling $35,278,395. Of this amount, approximately $19,665,859 is allocated for a housing development, which is located in the South Park neighborhood of downtown Los Angeles, bounded by 14th and 15th, and as well as Broadway and Hill Streets. The remaining $14,992,968 is designated for transportation and pedestrian improvements, which are intended to increase accessibility and encourage the use of public transit in the area surrounding the new housing development. These improvements include sidewalk reconstruction, access ramps, curb extensions, bus facilities, as well as lighting and traffic signal modifications. The developer submitted the ASIC grant application as the sole applicant, while the city did review the application for compliance with our standards as well as right-of-way requirements. It was not a co-applicant for the grant. The developer subsequently sought the city's assistance in delivering the transportation elements, primarily due to a lack of experience working in the public right-of-way, as well as challenges in financing the front funding for these improvements. Staff from the Bureau of Engineering and Los Angeles Housing Department negotiated the terms under which the city would assume responsibility for the implementation. Under this arrangement, the developer will retain responsibility for the housing components, while both parties will be required to comply with the grant requirements and approved design documents. At this time, the project has completed a draft notice of exemption, which determined that the project is categorically exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act, pursuant to Article 3 of the city's CEQA guidelines. And the final signature on the notice of exemption will be executed upon approval by the board. And again, therefore, we request the board approve the implementation agreement and confirm the CEQA findings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, any questions or comments from the commissioners? All right, I'm glad the city is able to support in this manner. Seeing no other discussion, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you, President Kang. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item 3, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant. Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and this item is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 4, contract award for sewer condition assessment by closed circuit television and sewer cleaning.
Good morning, commissioners and other officials. My name is Kwesi Beko, Division Manager for Clean Water Conveyance. The request before you is to seek authority to execute a contract for 22 million. This is to cover condition assessment of our sewer system for a period of 5 years. Now, this is being awarded to 2 service providers, Red Zone Robotics and National Plant. When we did the briefings, Commissioner Cardenas requested some presentation. So if it's okay with you, I'll go into the presentation and hopefully it answers some of the questions and shed more light on why we need to do CCTV. Okay, so. All right, so condition assessment. We're using closed circuit TV inspection, essentially a camera to go into our sewers, both the regular sewer and the storm pipes, to televise them, to determine the conditions of the pipes, and then to initiate repairs. That we have 6,700 miles of sewers within our service area. Some of the uses of the condition assessment, we use it to initiate and plan capital improvement as we're doing our hydraulic analysis or determining how the method to rehabilitate our pipes, what is going on down there is critical. On occasions or regularly actually, once we televise them, there are conditions, a pipe is broken, we're executing emergency on-call contract work to go ahead and do the repairs. So these will not go through the regular capital improvement project. And that is all under our division and do a lot of these. So root control program is another thing that we do as these roots intrude into our pipes. We have a cleaning regime or process. We want to make sure of its effectiveness and in general, helping determine the pipe condition. With these, as we're televising pipes and coming upon defects, we use that to adjust our cleaning frequencies as well, from once a year to 2 times a year to a quarterly basis. It all depends on what is going on there, underscoring the value and also the effectiveness of our cleaning overall. So the advantages, it's got a high accuracy in terms of assessing condition of a pipe, and we use it to prevent sanitary overflows. And these have usually come in the form of, we televise a pipe, it's holding water, immediately we're notified and send in a contractor if a pipe is broken or needs to be cleaned to prevent a spill condition. At the moment, our annual goal is to televise 600 miles of pipe, which did not always used to be the case. In fact, prior to the incident in Hyperion, July 2021, our target was 400 miles. It was part of the process with the regional board when they QAQC'd us that was negotiated to 600 miles for the year. So the method or the things that we do in CCTV, besides televising and seeing the picture condition, we also do sonar. Sonar gives us the ability to see the level of debris that is in the pipe. We do laser profiling, which will show the shape of the pipe as it is compared to what was originally planned. And that is very critical or crucial in determining how deteriorated or damaged the pipe is, and as a result, the rehabilitation method to choose. Next is just a picture of the CCTV equipment on your left as we're lowering it into a maintenance hole, and then on your right as we're pushing it through. So I'm gonna jump up one slide and come back. It's titled Where We Started and Where We Are. I'll focus on where we are first. So where we are currently, we have 7 trucks that we're using to do CCTV, all in-house at the moment, 4 that we own and 3 that we're renting. We're using a staff group of 1 supervisor and 14 staff to be able to do that in order to meet that 600 miles target. Now, we had a CCTV contract in effect, which was going from October 2021, would have ended 2026. Executed in 2021, the rate at which the contract negotiation and execution time takes, we go to a stage where after execution, 2021, economy goes down, COVID is here, it wasn't worth the contractors' while to be doing it for us. So at some point, they stopped doing CCTV or performing CCTV for us. I'll show you in the next slide. And in fact, at this point, have asked to be released of that contract. So that's what necessitated us looking in-house to do this work ourselves. And in doing so, we've been very successful. So previously, that's what we had, 4 tracks, most of which were barely functioning. We've been able to get the new ones that have come in through the budget process to support. So that's what you see on there. I'm going to jump back. So as we look at our CCTV production on the chart, 21, 22, we did 110 miles. 22, 23, 329 miles. At that point, the agreement had been made with the regional board that we needed to get to 600 miles of CCTV. The assumption is for a 10-year turnaround, we would have 6,000 miles out of the 6,700, and the remaining approximately being of the much, much larger pipes. And also, it was to bring it to industry standard as was required by the Regional Water Quality Control Board. So we really kicked into full gear 22, 23, 24. And as you can see, we met our target for 615 miles. And then 24, 25, we also met our target. This year, we're projecting to meet our target as well. So with that, with the CCTV and other measures in-house, some of the benefits has been in fiscal year 24-25, we recorded 51 spills, which is the lowest ever recorded. And for a sewer system of our size, that was a big feat. Now, the next is a comparison. The state has this metric of the number of spills per 100 miles of a sewer system. So when you look at that, we're averaging 0.75 spills per 100 miles of sewer, and the state average being 0.88 spills per 100 miles of sewer. I mean, there are other details that go into this because that's overall. It's not comparing scale. It's not in terms of the size of our system. It's not, for instance, doing things such as relatively new systems versus the city of LA, where we have very old pipes. So So in terms of cost, this is what we're looking at. On the right side, at this point, we're renting 3 trucks, and the rental is $21,218 per month. And annually, we're looking at $255,000. So with other incidentals, delivery and the like, we project that is about $280,000 per truck, and that is for the 3 trucks that we're using right now. If we were to purchase, we'll be looking at about $475,000 per truck. So in terms of staffing, to staff it up, we're probably looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about 2.2 to 2.5 million. So overall, while I asked for the request to approve or authorize us to execute this contract, it is also clear from the last 2 years and this year, we believe same, that we have the capability to be able to do this in-house. We have done it successfully. Things are at our fingertip. Our staff are able to do it. They get overtime in the process. All that gives us joy that we have control over our program. So that is something that we're going to be working through the logistics for the future to be able to do this. In the meantime, we're doing it anyway. By the time the contract is executed, we are still working on it. And then in the future, how we work through the logistics to be able to do it for ourselves. So that, let me see quickly. So something to throw out during the Palisades fire, for example, we were on hand, our staff were able to get out, and we estimated we had about 150 miles of sewer pipes within the Palisades. We successfully televised 119 miles of it. Out of this 119 miles, 24 miles of it we considered what we call vulnerable pipes, the HDPE pipes, your pipes made of other materials that will easily burn. And some of them did burn. So we televised it, did emergency work to take care of those. We did it for both the storm and the sewer system. The speed with which we were able to do it in-house only bolsters the argument that we should work towards our ability to do that. That said, there will still be a portion of CCTV that will probably have to be done by consultants, such as on the very large pipes. And Commissioner, when we talk about the NOS, where we had to shut down the freeway around Glendale, that was something that we were monitoring through that other CCTV contract. We were monitoring the condition, and when it got to where it was, we quickly moved in. The bigger pipes, the equipment, cost, and all those things, it'll take us time to build up. So whatever scenario we come up with, initial going, there will be the need to work with contractors, but it'll be at a reduced scale. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Commissioners, any questions or comments? That was very helpful. Commissioner Cardenas.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for the meeting that the briefing that we had was very informative for me, and that's why I asked for these specific data. And looking at the truck cost comparison, so crunching some quick numbers, over a 5-year period, if we were to purchase the truck, it would be about $550,000 over the 5-year period. And the rental over the 5-year period, using your numbers, would be $1.4 million over the 5-year period. So just want to see if I have it straight. So are we planning on buying the trucks based on this comparison?
Absolutely.
That wasn't that clear. You're giving us a comparison, yeah, but I want to know which way you were going, because the rental is a lot more expensive.
Yes, we are paying when we see these numbers.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure.
Way we're working through it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Thank you for your report. So I'm confused. We're paying for the trucks, but we're doing a personal contract for what purposes for 22 million?
So the work had always been done by contractors. Now, after COVID, so 2021, the contractors stopped doing the work for us. So we had to ramp up to be able to do it ourselves. And that's how we got to where we are renting trucks in addition to our own trucks to be able to do the work, to generate that 600 miles that the regional board required us. So
So would they be utilizing the vehicles that we purchase, or I'm confused.
no, they'll be utilizing their own vehicles. So we're at a point right now where we still have to get to that 600 miles.
We still have to, I can't hear you because we got a lot of,
We still have to televise 600 miles of sewer. That is a mandate from the state regional board. So for one, until a contract comes on board, we're doing it. And this process will take time. Now, once a contractor comes on board, we can scale back. It depends on how much work the contractor is willing to do. Because executing a contract does not guarantee work. So in the end, we want to be able to do it ourselves. We've got to work through the city process to be able to do it. So at the moment, we've pulled people from sewer to be able to do this work. And
so let me be clear, or let me understand. Are we saying we have a contractor doing the work and we're going to scale back the use of the contractor over time? Or how is that working?
yes, so once it's executed, once the contract is executed, already there's about 20-30% of the work when we're talking about the specialized equipment, the laser profiling, pipes where the regular CCTV cannot go in, and we've got to float a camera of sort. That all requires specialized equipment and specialized knowledge. So there will always be the need for contractors to do work for us. At the moment, they're not doing it for us. So we're doing it ourselves. So once we get a contract, it is a sewer group that we use to do this work. So we head on the sewer side as well. So once they come in, now we'll start working it out how we can scale up to be able to do the work ourselves.
So is LA Sand still going to be doing some of its own work, but this other work is reserved for contractors?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ultimately, yes.
Pardon?
I said ultimately, yes.
Okay,
Commissioner Cardenas.
So, Commissioner Mitchell just reminded me of another question. So what's the, right now, say this contract goes into effect, it's pretty loud. What percentage of the work will city forces be doing, and what percentage would be contracted out? And what's the plan for gradually increasing the percentage that the city's doing and obviously decreasing the contract work? What's that look like?
That's what we're working it out right now. So
what is it right now?
Right now, at least about 30% of the work, which is specialized, the contractors will have to do it.
So the city's doing 70% of the work. City forces are doing 70% of the work right now.
Yes, and if we were to do less, they'll do sewer cleaning, which is what their job was.
Yes.
So yes, we will scale. We want to turn it around.
And what kind of specific training does the city staff need to go through to be able to be competent and skilled enough to do the work that's being contracted? Do we have a feel for, what type of additional training that our city employees would have to go through?
They will have to go through the CCTV training. There is a certification process through NASCO to be able to do that. You kind of get into a few gray areas about class codes and things like that. We lucked out very well where a lot of the people came from the CCTV contract group. So once we had to move on our feet, they knew the work already. So those are all the logistics that we need to work out.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you. As I understand, the state mandate is 600 miles a year,
That is correct.
and that we did 645 roughly last year. And then
Last year, I think it was 627.
627. At that pace, it'll take us 11 years to do the whole system, LA sewage system. Do we have plans to, yeah, I realize that's a state mandate and we're not obligated to do more, but do we have plans to increase the amount of sewage lines that we're going to surveil in the future, or are we content with 600?
We have plans in the work, for instance, the 24/7 shift that we've been asking for. We got half of it. The other half, we plan to use some of the staff to be able to do it. Some of the pipes are sitting about 60 feet below the ground, and so televising those become more specialized. And some are also relatively new, for instance, those built around 2005. So we have this plan to work it out, and based on need, we would ideally want to televise all our pipes. The frequency will differ, for instance, between large ones versus the smaller ones, age, and where it is situated and all those things. So ideally, yes, we want to televise all our pipes. There are, we just have to take it one step at a time, but yes.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So move. Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Thank you, President King. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item 4, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell and Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, and this item is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Knight, I believe that concludes our items for today.
Yes, it does.
Our next meeting will be on Wednesday, March 11, 2026. Meeting is now adjourned at 10:48 a.m., and we'll pick it right back up for our management meeting. Thank you very much.